Hey guys, welcome to Darksiders Comics, my channel. We're gonna do Solitaire issue number 1 by Malibu Comics and Ultraverse. Yeah, I picked this up for a couple of bucks. I know there's 12 issues, and I have only have 5 of them. So depends how if I like the whole series or not. I'm gonna buy the other ones or not. I mean, when I looked at this cover, I thought, hey man, this typical 90s, guy from Follow the Sky shooting, pouches, X costume, looks like, I don't know, Punisher, maybe Cable. So yeah, let's dive in and then see if it's good. So we see this girl, fleeing from these two bouncers, and these bouncers says, "Hey, sorry, girlie, the king doesn't want you to lose, or want to lose you. He likes the way you hurt too much." And she says, "I want to die. Leave me alone," etc. And then out of the sky, well, let's say from probably from a roof, Solitaire comes and beats these guys up, but these guys are fighting back. And the first thing I notice is the costume is, it's dark. It says, purple and blue. But he also has a hoodie. Now, I must say something about that because I really don't like people wearing hoodies. Those costumes with completely covered faces is done to death, in my opinion. I really don't like that. It's been overly done, and it doesn't feel, oh, I'm mysterious, etc. No, it's been done. For me, that's passé. It was a gimmick that works at the time, but for me personally, I don't like it. But the thing is, he doesn't wear the hoodie at all. So then you can think, what's the purpose? Well, the purpose is just, it looks cool. Because I think let's go back to the cover first. If you take away the hoodie, that he is not wearing, so it's just hanging on his shoulder, it's just a, typical normal costume. And I think the hoodie that flows a little bit in his neck adds a little bit something extra to the costume, in my opinion. I mean, it just has some kind of a visual flair to it. But hey, let's move on, right? So he beats these guys up, and these guys fight back, but then out of nowhere they're getting shot before they can reveal who the king is and where he is. And there's some old school cars here. No one finds the king finds you. And he's shooting those goons that probably work for them, I guess. And then Solitaire has some kind of giant ass gun, and you see also these. I love the visuals, the sound effects, boom or whatever. How do you say it? And he's getting shot as well. But also, with the smoke and then the bullet flying out, or the case. And then he's getting shot while the old school car, the classic car, the 70s car, 60s car, 50s car, I don't know, is fleeing or driving away. Also with the very silly looking, smoke tail. And then, but this girl, goes to him and he says, "Don't touch the wounds. I'm very hard to hurt." And that makes me want to, because he has a big fucking hole in his chest. I mean, are you not hurting at all? I mean, or is he impervious to pain? I'm not entirely sure. And he says, "You're gonna tell me everything about the king." Also, the thing that I don't like about the costume, coming like a little bit to that as well, he has a normal boot, but then this boot is going all the way up to his thigh or his leg. Yeah, that's not really what I like, but hey, it is what it is. Then we switch to, I presume, the king. So the king has some kind of a throne room in his, I don't know, living room, and he shouts that I pay thousands to lawyers, detectives, and police to keep myself clean. I collect only the cast of young who will be released missed. And then he comes and snatches my favorite little girl from me. He makes you kill my boys. That makes me feel bad. And then this I don't know, chemist or whoever you call, makes some drugs for him. And then this goon says, "Hey, we're gonna get the girl back, and do you want me to kill for them?" And then you can try, he says. So and then this is the king. and his gimmick is that he wants to feel good. That's his thing, and he has a bunch of slaves here, and the art looks very good, I must say. I mean, there's a lot of details, backgrounds. You have some cool expressions here. I like it. Go. Remember RoboCop 3? It was a bad movie. I like 1 and 2, by the way. The 1 and 2 were the best, especially 1. Man, that's a classic. So, switching to Solitaire, he has the slave girl, or the runaway girl. And the girl tells him where the whereabouts and what happened, that she is the king, or his goons found her on the streets, and that she's becoming his... they promised to make her an actress, the stereotypical runaway girl getting promised mountains of gold and mountains of money and fame and fortune, and then she's going into some kind of a sex circuit, how do you say? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Sex industry, something like that, or becoming a slave. And I like the way that the artist actually made the motorcycle look cool. I mean, probably traced. I mean, if you look at it, I think it's traced. Let me look at just here. But it doesn't matter, because sometimes I think that artists have a very hard time actually drawing a motorcycle. The motorcycles that I see that they draw most of the time doesn't really look good, or just made up out of their head or something like that. It doesn't really feel realistic at all. But here it works. But the funny thing is that Solitaire is, as you can see here, tracing these guys by the amount of gas that the car has lost. I mean, how does that work? I mean, you are driving in the night at a very high speed, and then you see some drops on the road, and then you instantly know there's a gas leak, and then you're following there. I don't think that's working, but it's a comic. I like the fact that he's doing that, but it's pretty unrealistic, although this is a comic. So they found this car, and the dialogue is also a little bit wonky. I mean, listen to this. Then this trial ends. He only answers. She says, the car, the one they used. How do you know it was here? His only answer is a glance at the bullet hole that made the car bleed gas until it died, leaving a trail of fluid. That's a little bit over the top, don't you think? And also he sees bullet cases and some kind of a narcotic called, or some kind of a stimulant called Rush, a quick rush called poppers. I mean, poppers. I mean, when I was, young, I went to Spain, and they, use those kind of things. Not that I used it myself, but poppers is more like a, happy drug. Okay. Funny that it's come back into this comic as well. Yeah, weird. Anyway, so he drops off the girl, and there's other girls too that she says, hey, Solitaire sent us. We are here to pick you up and guide you to a safe place. And she says, will he be back? I wanted to thank him. I want to know who he is. And the girl says, well, we all do. We want to know who he is. And then we see this, what is it, a theater? And Solitaire drives into it, and it's empty. And I think, oh, wait a minute, is this his bat cave? And so the light pop on, and the computers, and Solitaire basically uses his, let's say, detective skills, quote unquote, and he uses the license plate and the serial number of the car, going through records, and he finds parking tickets, being giving out or not giving out to very, rich people with expensive cars. And also, I love the visual that he still has this bullet hole. Then he gets a call from one of the girls, and says, it's Sky, there's a guy hunting for you. And they're looking for the girl. So Solitaire says, well, we basically, it's a setup. He says, tell them I'm at the meat locker on Central. And then this boy probably also works for Solitaire. I mean, I think he has some kind of a network, and he tells them where they are. So these goons break in, try to find Solitaire, But that, it's a trap. And here's Solitaire beating him up. And then we switch to King. Well, not almost. Well, the King's lair. So there's a car coming back. And then this goon says, "Hey, Liam, you should have called, man. The King, Liam, what's going on?" And then Liam is dead. And then out of the window jumps Solitaire. And this visually looks good. I mean, it's very, how do you say, fast-paced. And then he kicks everybody's ass. And I always love this kind of, when the artist is doing this after image. I believe that's how you call it. It's very visual striking, very kinetic. I love that. And oh man, just Sega. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't have this in my house ever, but I played it in the arcades. Have a lot of fun with that. But that's besides the point. So King says, "You cannot stop me, because even if you kill or round up my guys, I have the money to buy new guys and new slaves." And it seems that Solitaire did some digging, and he says, "I know about your money, how you got it from your father, and you puffed it up with crooked corporate takeovers in the 80s. And he said, "How do you know so much about me?" And he says, "I didn't know that. Because I used to be you. Then I woke up and saw myself in the daylight." And then King shoots at him, and then he does the, very quick, let's call it the Spider-Man moves again, and then he's getting hit in the back. What I didn't know, and that's made me very curious about who he is and what he can do. The dialogue says he feels the tiny machines working in him, knitting his tissues back together. So wait a minute. Does he have nanites in him? Like, what's his name? Bloodshot from Valiant? Because Valiant can take a lot of damage too, and he doesn't feel pain, if I'm remember correctly. So maybe they put something from Valiant or from Bloodshot and put it into Solitaire. Not entirely sure, because it doesn't get explained here, but it makes me curious. I like that. So then the whole thing is, King flees, and then he freeing the prisoners, and then I love this shot as well. That the things are going up in flames. These slaves or runaway kids looking at him, and he looks very vengeful. Try to get King, and King is had some keys and wants to flee with a car, but he has the wrong keys, and then they fight together, and then King is pushing the keys into the eye of Solitaire. It looks gruesome, and then, okay, this is what's very unexpected. So the roof collapses because of the fire, and actually some of the burning wooden plank pierced him, and he says, "I'm dead." It was very funny. And then Solitaire reveals himself, and King says, "Well, who are you? I shot you. I killed you." And he says, "I told you before, I'm very hard to hurt." And his name is Nicholas Anton Lone Stone, and it's son. And it seemed that Nicholas' father was also a member of the, I call it the Pleasure Dome. And he calls it the Pleasure Dome. I'm sorry. And if he learns what you have done, maybe you can tell him soon when you meet him in hell. Like I said, the dialogue is lit over the top. So the place burns down. The girls are free. Solitaire takes off, and then he rides into the mountains. With the last dialogue, he says, he remembers the father who wouldn't let him die. He vows that this fight has only just begun. And it seems that he was in kind of an accident, and then his father picked him up. And he also says he feels the itch of the final knitting of his flesh, and he remembers the road, the curve, the accident that was no accident. Yeah, great stuff. Like I said, a little bit over the top dialogue, but I actually like it. And I remember where I wonder where this is going. I'm not sure if there's a good payoff, but we'll see. I haven't read the other issues. Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious where this is going. Again, guys, thank you for watching. I'm going definitely review issue 2. Well, I have only 5, so I cannot go any further soon. So guys, thank you for watching. Just give me a like, give me a share my video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Jesus Christ, 15 minutes? That's way too long. Bye-bye.